18 months. Speaker Miranda holds inaugural plenary, pledges synergy with stakeholders for better Lagos. And later on the show, President Tinubu commends Governors Forum for supporting tax reform bills as Oyedele vows that no opposition to Governor's decision on a VAT sharing formula. The Executive Director of the Center for the Promotion of Public Enterprise, Muda Yusuf, will join us for the discussion. I'll be hanging out with Mayor Akinpelu and Asukwo James, while Babajide Kolade Otitoju joins us via Zoom. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. A famous quote by Peter Drucker says, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." It appears Nigerian music stars are guided by that statement as they continue to break barriers. While we are still basking in the history set by Davido on TikTok on the record for the most watched live stream in Africa in 2024, his arch rival Ayo Balogun, popularly known as Wizkid, kicked off 2025 with a bang, making headlines as the highest paid African artist on Spotify by raking in $1 million in monthly earnings on the music streaming platform. It set a new benchmark and reminded other African artists that talent and work rate can bring financial rewards in the global music industry. 1 million on a monthly basis. Okay, talk to me, Mayor. Another Nigerian, this is another Nigerian, yet, blazing the trail in the music world in Africa, with huge revenue, monthly earnings.
Yeah, it's good music to the ears. I'm so happy that Africans have been able to prove that we own rhythm. That rhythms resides in Africa. For a long time, we made the mistake of thinking that we want to be like someone else.
Okay.
And here within this environment, we used to believe that hip-hop music and American music is the way to go. But eventually, our artists started looking in, influenced greatly by Fela Anikulapo Kuti's Afrobeat. And since then, Afrobeat has conquered the world. And it's a thing of joy because music has moved from when you have a record label and then when you release an artist, you depend on people in Alaba or the so-called Bimpe Jolene or all those people that hog CDs. But now, when you make your music and you publish it and you have a publishing house, you are opening your music immediately to the world. That is one of the gains of the World Wide Web. The internet has made it possible for somebody in India or somebody in Indonesia or somebody in Pakistan to stream your music and enjoy it without seeing you. You don't have to be there physically. Your record label, whether it's owned by you or by someone else, does not have to have physical presence in those places. That is one of the gains of digital music. And our boys are cleaning out.
Yeah,
they are really cleaning out because
cleaning out.
No matter the way you look at it, $1 million every month is a lot of money.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of money, and I'm so happy for
exactly.
I'm happy for Wizkid.
So, Asuko, looking at the top 10 earners, we're looking at Wizkid, Burna Boy, and Thames. Top three. Now, looking at the top 10, Nigerians also, Olamide also has about 1 billion streams on Spotify. But what does that say about the Nigerian talent?
The talents in Nigeria are enormous. You can't exhaust it. Just like Mayor was saying, if you travel out of Nigeria, that is when you now begin to appreciate the Nigerianness in you. Because even some places you go to, you just be listening, you just find out that they are even playing Nigerian music, and then you'll be checking.
Exactly.
Am I in Eko or am I somewhere else? So that shows the level and the extent to which our music has gone. And if you look at the talents, how much they've made so far, every month, apart from Wizkid, Burna Boy is about 780 million, 780,000 plus on Spotify monthly
basis.
You understand? Thames 600,000 plus. So if you can see all the pluses, that it shows that there's talent. The talent in Nigeria is just so much in terms of music, movies, theater arts. You can't just even comedy. So if you go online, you see it is just enormous. So I think that is where the government has to start looking at, making sure that all those talents are being harnessed, not just here, but we can also, export them out there, and then this will take away so many youth away from all these social vices that we are seeing.
Exactly. All right, BKO is joining us via Zoom, from Kaduna. Now, BKO, I think it's time for both of us to enter into the studio and wax something nice right now. But talking about this issue of this big thing from Wizkid, how can these earnings on Spotify benefit musicians, in Nigeria, in the face of intellectual property theft and other challenges?
The good thing about these platforms is that when your music is streamed, it is verifiable, it is scientific, no one can tamper with it. It is not like ratings here in our country sometimes that are manipulated, tremendous human influence in it. This is scientific. It cannot be rigged. So, and if your music is good, people will take to it and you earn your money. People have always said that Wizkid is the biggest artist in our country. And it shows with the facts at our disposal. You can see Wizkid doing 1 million via Spotify in a month. Yes, it's still a long way from what Drake and Taylor Swift are making from the same Spotify. Because Drake is doing 7,717,000, Taylor Swift doing 7,713,000. But it's a good starting point. And you can see Rema 367,000, Omale doing 421,000, Era Star 400,000, and I think Davido 458,615. So Wizkid's fans will say here now that their guy is doing 2 times as good as Davido, but that is not really the issue. What excites me is that in the continent of Africa, you can see only Tyler from South Africa, the Grammy Award winner, has challenged this Nigerian boys and girls. Just Tyler doing 607,804. That's the only person in the continent of Africa that has featured in that top 10. The rest of them are Nigerians. So it shows you that Nigeria is the home of Afrobeat. It shows you that the sky is the talent for our artists. And I want to see these artists invest some of this money in building high-tech studios here in our country. I want to see more of these artists do their videos in Nigeria as against going to South Africa to shoot videos, going to other countries of the world to shoot videos. We need to invest some of this money in our country. And it shouldn't just be, let me go and buy the best automobile in the world. Invest some of this money to develop the music sector. Burna Boy was complaining the other day that we do not really have excellent studios where people can, where artists can record their works. He said that about a year ago. I want to see Burna Boy, I want to see Davido and Wizkid pull resources together. This is not, they shouldn't be antagonizing one another. The nonsensical talk, for example, that Burna Boy did not deserve to win Grammy, he won it because of oil and all that. That nonsense has to stop. This is the time for us to realize that, look, our artists are good and that Nigeria must continue to build on the successes that these artists are recording. So this is the future.
Okay. Now, having said that, BKO made...
This future.
Okay. All right, BKO talked about what Burna Boy said, that they don't have all of these studios. Now, where can the government come in here? Should the government now join with private sector?
Not necessarily. You know, I don't think we need a government. I don't really think we
You don't think we need the government?
What we needed government for is to create an enabling environment, and they are doing so already, especially in the Nollywood area. The Bank of Industry gives loans. In different states through their Ministry of Tourism and Culture give loans to that I'm aware of. Give loans to producers of films to be able to do mega films, and they are doing well. Funke Akindele's latest film has grossed over 1.4 billion. You know, and things are improving in that light. Well, I want to continue from where BK stopped, that it is the artists themselves that are earning this enormous amount of money should invest part of this money in infrastructure to develop their business
in Nigeria.
So
have that
because
to do it
almost 90%, if not more, of the videos are shot in South Africa. Most of the models that you see are not Nigerians. We can now develop that side of the industry by building infrastructure. People will pay for those things, and because they have this money, they also is this their trade. If you have a first-class studio where you can record, if you have first-class studios where you can record your videos, it will enhance the industry. Because like we have musicians that are good, we also have video producers in this country that are lovely, that are very good, that are very good. So we need to invest more in infrastructure. Why we believe that government should come in and aid them, because government too will benefit from it, they will generate a lot of money. But the artists themselves who are making enormous, because this $1 million is just one platform. There are other platforms where they aid. It's just that it's not up to what they're getting on Spotify, but they have other platforms. So they are any enormous amount of money, and they should invest part of that money. I expect, for example, Wizkid or Burna Boy or Davido to have their studios of their own that is world class, where they can record their music. They don't need to go out, where they can do videos and all that. So they should start looking inwards to see how they are going to invest that money.
All right then. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. A new frontier of development in the southern axis of Kwara State is being championed by Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak. The governor has inaugurated the OC campus of Kwara State University. He described the event as more than just a project inauguration. According to Governor Abdurrazak, the completion of the OC and Ilesha Baruba campuses of the university bears testament to his pledge that Kwara will not be a mortuary of abandoned projects. Now let's share the story by TVC News' Ibrahim Alege with you.
Kwara State University, located in Malete, was established as a university for entrepreneurship and community development. It is in fulfillment of this objective that the OC and Elisha Baruba campuses were established to develop these rustic communities. While the Elisha Baruba campus hosts the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, the OC campus plays host to the Faculty of Environmental Sciences.
The OC campus of the Kwara State University.
The OC campus is here being inaugurated by Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak. The governor says this will stimulate rapid development in the community.
OC campus will not just be a physical structure, but a beacon of hope and testament to our hard work. This project started under the previous administration. It was later abandoned due to financial, logistic, and administrative hurdles under the same administration. We promised never to abandon it, and what you see here bears testimony to the power of strategic planning, prudent resources management, determination, and good conscience.
The Vice Chancellor of the Kwara State University, Professor Sheikh Lukman Jima, is optimistic that the presence of the university campus will stimulate local businesses and community development.
We are set to approach NUC coming next session with another 3 programs, namely architecture, survey and geoinformatics, and also quantity survey. All these, by God's grace, will come to fruition come next session.
OC and indeed our brothers in open communities remain committed to supporting your administration every way possible.
Fine and applied arts, geography, urban and regional planning, as well as estate management are the courses being offered at the OC campus. Beyond serving as the seat of the campus of the Kwara State University, OC community is expected to experience economic development and infrastructural growth with the influx of students into this rural community. Ibrahim Alige, TVC News, OC, Kwara State.
All right, beautiful news coming from Kwara State. But BKO, I'll start with you here. The policy of Governor Abdulrazak to make sure that no project is abandoned is worthy of commendation. Don't you agree?
Yes, I agree. And the PDP officials who sarcastically asked the governor to complete other projects initiated by the PDP administration in the state, since he doesn't have his own projects, should really be ashamed of themselves. Because if you completed the projects in the first place, there will have been no need for a new administration to then focus attention on those projects. Government is a continuum. We cannot have a situation in which projects are abandoned simply because the person in the seat of power or at the helm of affairs did not initiate such projects. So I think the governor has done the right thing by completing such projects that the previous administration initiated. And some of those projects are the Kwara State University campus in OC, Kwara South, Ilesha Baruba, Kwara North, the State Secretariat, and conversion of the sugar company to a film factory, conversion of abandoned cargo terminal to a garment company, as well as other projects that we cannot list here. I do not agree that because you didn't initiate a project, then it makes sense to admit it. And it's one of the things for which I even give credit to Governor Sanwo-Olu. Many of the projects that Governor Sanwo-Olu has inaugurated, he did not initiate them. Look at the energy with which he had pursued the rail projects in Lagos. He was not the one who initiated the project. Look at even the road leading to Mile 2, for example, that had been a big problem to our people. And even the Lagos Homes project. Those projects, and I also remember the Pensinema Bridge, for example. He took his time to complete those projects. Politicizing projects and saying because my predecessor, whose face I do not like, initiated the project, therefore I should not complete it. I don't think sensible people should be thinking like this. And what do you gain trying to mock a man who saw a project that you abandoned and decided to complete it? You are now mocking him that, oh, since he does not have projects of his own that he initiated, that he should just go ahead and be completing projects that the previous administration actually started. That is actually the right thing. Government is a continuum. I would rather, if I were a governor, complete projects that were abandoned than start new ones. Because the longer it takes to complete a project, the more expensive it is to complete that project. And if that project is meant for our people, What do we gain by abandoning them? Because you abandon them, it will now cost 3 times or 4 times more. Given the devaluation of our currency, for example, a project that was supposed to cost 100 million, it will now cost more than 3 times that amount. So Governor Abdulrazak has done the right thing, going after those projects that were abandoned and completing them. It wasn't IBB that started the Third Mainland Bridge project, but he completed it, and people are praising him today. They are praising him. When they talk about that bridge, they call it
IBB Bridge.
IBB Bridge. But he didn't start it. That was a project that took many years. So politicization of everything, including projects that are beneficial to our people, is really something that is very bad, and I think politicians need to behave themselves. You can't be ridiculing someone who did the right thing by completing a project that you didn't complete in your time. And it's not every project that a governor can even complete in his time. Like the ring road project that the governor of Oyo State has initiated. There is no way he can complete it during his own tenure. It's just not possible. There is no way that the Governor Sanwo-Olu can complete the Fourth Mainland project if he were to start it today.
Yeah.
So I don't see any reason for this kind of needless argument.
Okay. Most governors are guilty of this. They first look at the political history of projects, determines if they will complete it or not. But really, what is responsible for things like this?
I think it's just sheer wickedness and pride.
Wickedness?
Yes, and pride. Because I don't, for a governor to come and say, okay, I want to start a project, he knows that that project is going to benefit everybody, including even the opposition. Okay, because I'm just looking at it, and this thing about abandoned projects cuts across. It's not just one particular place. And when we have new governors, new government in place, instead of them to continue with they want to start another one. You know, and at the end of the day, they'll be the ones to start complaining that there's no money to do X, Y, Z. And it's very easy. I'm just looking at some states, like, for instance, I remember going to Cross River. There was a time we had Tinapa. Yeah. There was a time we had Obudu Cattle Ranch. The last time I went to those two places, it was an eyesore. And I was just wondering, what is happening? Perhaps maybe this new government will look into those projects, because they were laudable projects.
Yeah, when Donald Duke, exactly.
During Donald Duke's time. But after Donald Duke, it was completely abandoned. You know, the cable car that everybody were priding back then.
Yes.
When I got there, the only thing you do with that cable car is just for you to stand beside it and then you snap picture, and that is it. You can't even take a ride anymore. And it had presidential, there's a particular one that they said this is for the president anytime he's coming. You know, and so these projects are just there, abandoned. When once you have a new government, that is it. They want to start another one. There are so many projects like that. And now that this governor is now saying, okay, fine, this particular school, and where the school is a community. So just imagine that community
the economic
now.
Benefits,
the economic benefits in that area. You know, even real estates will go up there.
Exactly.
Because once you have a campus,
development will definitely
move there immediately. When once you have a campus in your community, be assured that people will start coming back home to come and build one small quarters for students.
For students, yes.
And then everybody will start making money. That is how money is being made, for crying out loud. And so governors have to start thinking that way. When once you build something and a new government is coming, just continue with it. And then if you have another plan, you go on with you initiate your own. Another person will come and continue with your own. Rather than having abandoned projects everywhere.
Mayor, government is a continuum. BK has emphasized on it. The PDP coming up to say that, initiate new instead of... But this also shows the governor's commitment to education.
Yeah, that's why I'm happy, because I believe that our governors, even in the presidency, they've not spent enough money in education. We need to spend more money in education. Any country that wants wants to be great needs to invest a lot of money in education, which we don't do. So when you see a governor who believes in education, it's something that gladdens my heart. And for what PDP said, it's just politics. You know, sometimes the public secretary, the publicity secretary of a party has a job to do. And sometimes part of the job is just to make some noise, to be able to say we are here. It goes without saying that if you complete a project that your predecessor initiated, you deserve commendation for it, not criticism. Because if you abandon a project that you spend taxpayers' money to do, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't bring development. And because of the kind of politics that we play here, some people do that. They come in, they don't like what they don't, because they have issues with the previous government, and they decide that, no, I'm not going to touch this project. It's not my project. I don't know anything about that. It shouldn't be like that. Because government is not really considered. It is important that when you do something, you look at the general good, which is to provide dividends of democracy for your people, for those who voted you in, for whose money you spend to do all this project. So it's not a personal project. But so you have to complete it.
Let's twist it a bit. Who would hold the governors to account for all of these abandoned projects?
The people.
The people.
Yes.
How will they do that?
By voting them out.
Vote them out.
If you the only way in a democracy, apart from the House initiating impeachment proceedings against the governor, the only way you can hold a governor accountable to the people is when that circle. That's why it's created like that. That they must come back to the people to
account for their stewardship.
So if any governor not doing the right thing, naturally the people will not vote him, or they will vote him out. That is the only way you can punish a governor that is not doing what is right.
Do you have something to say?
No,
on
that
this?
is definitely the people that the buck stops on. You know, when once a governor who has promised that is going to do X, Y, Z comes and he doesn't do it, and he doesn't even initiate it as part of what he wants to do. When it comes to beg for votes, you deal with the person.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. The Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Highway project is a major infrastructure development initiative in Nigeria aiming to enhance transportation, economic activities, and improved regional connectivity. The magnitude of this project was highlighted by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who said President Bola Tinubu is determined to ensure completion of the project. Now, let's still talking about this. BKO, I'll come to you straight. Talking about this this road, Abuja-Kaduna Road project. The president has given a standing order. This road project must be completed. Now, it's going to be completed within 14 months. This also shows the importance of this road project. Don't you agree?
Yes, and it's the first dual carriageway in northern Nigeria. The road was originally built by the administration of Ibrahim Babangida, at that time, and it has failed in many portions. So there was the need to reconstruct it by the last administration, the administration of Muhammadu Buhari. And it was the most expensive road project that administration had to deal with, because it had to be expanded in some portions. Some bridges had to be relocated to facilitate expansion. So it's taking so long. During that period, we've seen the second Niger Bridge, for example, completed by the administration. We've seen the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway completed. Of course, this is longer, but there's no reason for the delay that we are witnessing. Julius Baja actually proposed a 3-year tenure for the project to be completed, but the president said no, 3 years is too long, and Now, a different company has been reassigned the portion that was given to Julius Baja, and they've now agreed that in 14 months the road be delivered. It's a very, very important highway because it links different states like Niger, Kogi, Kaduna, Kano. So it's a very, very important highway. And under this administration, they are also adding 10.6 kilometers to the road so as to take it straight to the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Nigeria's first airport. That's the airport in Kano was the first, or remains the first airport that opened for commercial travel in our country, commercial air travel. So, and they plan to concession the maintenance. This is the aspect that gladdens my heart, because if they do not concession the maintenance, in no time, we'll see portions of this road failing. We'll see vehicles running into the medians, damaging the medians, and the medians will just be left like that. So I'm happy that they've decided to concession the maintenance. I'm also happy that solar installation is going to take place. I mean, to ensure that the place is well lit at night. There are still many Nigerians who enjoy night travel. When we were younger, Nigeria was safer. A lot of us enjoy traveling in the night. Even for the vehicles, it's the best time to travel. The engines enjoy night travel. But people are going off it now for security reasons. But along that route, once the road is well lit, it will be safer to travel on that road. So I'm happy that the president has said, no, we don't want to entertain any delay. And hopefully, in 14 months, they will have put that road construction to bed.
Okay. Mayor, this also shows that contractors holding the nation hosted on any project will not be tolerated.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice that the president attached enough importance to the road to say that he wants it done in 14 months. But I have my doubts.
You have your doubts?
Yes, I have my doubts. I have my doubt because it takes a lot of money to do this project.
Okay.
And there is not enough money to go around. If you notice that the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway took quite a time to get to where it is now because of funds. So, yes, I hope the president will be able to provide enough funds for the new
road project
for the new contractor to be able to meet that timeline. But I'm also surprised that Julius Baja, that used to be the most efficient building contractor in the country, seems to not to be as efficient as they used to be. Because I found it surprising that Julius Baja will be handling a project and it will be revoked because of non-performance. I know that the German company has invested greatly and is owned mostly by Nigerians now, but I think they should work on their standard. Even if you look at the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the side that Julius Baja, because half of it was Julius Baja, half of it was RCC. Yes. But when you look at Dubai, when you go there now, you see that some part of the roads are failing already, and it's not yet, and it's not commissioned yet. So they have to do something about the company. The company is not as efficient as they used to be. So the new contractor should be able to do that. Because of the importance of that road, it will be lovely if they can do it in 14 months.
He has talked about 14 months, but he said he's not sure if this road project will be completed. The minister and also the contractor should be ready that Nigerians will hold them responsible if this thing is not completed within 14 months because the president gave the order. Don't you agree?
Yes, of course, because that 14 months, I don't know. When you say 14 months, that is throughout this year.
And then just the next quarter.
Exactly. First quarter of
next year. That is 2026. Yes. It's good that we put this timeline so the contractor knows that he has his work cut out for him.
The timeline.
Yes, there's a timeline. Unlike before that, the Julius Baja was just taking it as if, okay, I've been have been in Nigeria for a long time, so anything goes. You know, now it's 14 months. So the new contractors will be looking at that 14 months. Where can we get to? Because it's a long stretch. You know, it's a section 1 of that long stretch. That's about 82 kilometers. Yes. That's what they are going to do. So, and then the government also needs to also give them funds for them to also deliver. Also the issue. Because if you say you want me to deliver in 14 months, you also have to give me money for me to be able to deliver.
So the government should do the end of the bargain, you know, by providing the necessary funds.
That road, I know in 2001 or 2002, that was the last time I applied that road. And it was in the night, you know, when Biko was saying night travels. I actually took a night bus to Kaduna. You know, so when I still remember some years back when Asarif Dokubo was even saying, give me the contract, let me secure that particular road. You know, because bandits just use that road as their own end, you know, and they were kidnapping people, and all that. So that road is critical. And so that is why the government must do everything humanly possible for that road to be fixed, for it to be rehabilitated. You know, the new ideas that the minister has for that road for it to last for 50 years and above, it means more money has to be involved.
More money has
to be. Because if you want anything good, you must spend for, you know, so if you need a road to last for 50 years, it means that latest technologies will have to be involved, latest equipment and latest materials, will have to also go into it. So I'm looking at 14 months, well, fine. Let's see how they can go. I'm not being pessimistic, but I know that with optimism, if government gives them everything that they need,
they should be able to deliver in 14 months. All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our next conversation. The new Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mojisola Miranda, has begun to stamp her authority and is determined to unify the 10th Assembly. At her first plenary as Speaker, Miranda pledged to work with the State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and the judiciary in order to achieve a greater Lagos. In her address, she thanked her colleagues for the confidence they displayed in making her their Speaker, while emphasizing the importance of synergy between the House and other arms of government for good governance.
Exactly 10:37 a.m. on Friday, the bell rang. That was the call to lawmakers to move into the chambers for the plenary session, scheduled for 11 a.m. to begin. Many say it's a fresh chapter for the Assembly as lawmakers arrived early. Few minutes past 11 a.m., Mojisola Miranda walked into the chamber that had its gallery already filled to capacity, with observers who came in large numbers to witness the historic first session to be presided over by the first female Speaker of the House. As the new Speaker took her seat, the business of the day began. Her first task was the announcement of the new principal officers of the House.
To take the chair
Temitope Adedeji Adewale is the new majority leader. He replaces Nohim Adams, who held the position until the impeachment of former Speaker Mudashiru Obasa. Setonji David was announced the chief whip, while Okonlawon Sani became the deputy whip. Another interesting part of the plenary was the announcement of two members of the House who threw their weight behind the election of the new Speaker. In what can be described as her first official speech to the lawmakers, Mrs. Miranda promised to carry out her duty with diligence and commitment to the people of the state.
As the newly elected Speaker, I am deeply grateful for the trust and confidence you have restored in me, and I pledge to work tirelessly to uphold the principle of transparency, good governance, and other noble things that this noble house stands for. We focus on working together for a better Lagos. We prioritize leaving the past behind and forging ahead. We will not dwell on past controversies or disagreements, but instead focus on the great and pressing tasks ahead.
A motion for adjournment was moved and the new Speaker took a tour of the Assembly premises accompanied by members of the House.
Of the 40 members of the House, 36 were present at the plenary. Meanwhile, congratulatory messages are still pouring in for the newly elected Speaker of the House, Right Honourable Mojisola Lasbat Miranda. Abimbola Agbebi, TVC News, Lagos.
The new Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mojisola Miranda, calling for unity for a better Lagos is a step in the right direction, don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. She has no choice. She has no choice. She's a child of history, and she has to learn from it. One of the problems that the former speaker had was the disagreement with the governor. It was obvious. That speech that he made during the presentation of the budget was the beginning of what caused the problem that he had. So it goes without saying that the new speaker must learn from that and know that it is important for them to have a good synergy, both the executive and the legislature. And in fairness, that is what should happen, because if you want a better Lagos, there must be a synergy between the executive and the legislative, because both of them are the two modes. Well, yes, the judiciary is there, but the legislative arm and the executive arm are quite very important. And the last dispensation, for reasons that I don't know and that is not in the public domain, the last speaker, the speaker and the governor did not really get along properly. And I want to commend her for saying quite early at the beginning that there's going to be a good synergy between the executive and the legislature, and that she hopes that they will be able to do better for the people of Lagos. I think that's nice.
Okay, BKO, Honorable Mojisola Miranda, who is now the first female speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, talk to me. What are you looking forward to with this new leadership?
I expect synergy with the incumbent governor of the state. She has a lot of influence by even the circumstances of her birth, and she has tremendous support of the House members now. The last meeting that they held, about 37 of them were in attendance. That's a significant number. It's not even a simple majority. It's an overwhelming majority. So, and you can see that she has moved quickly to dissolve the standing committees to effect a change in the leadership of the House. Majority leader, someone else been appointed, and she's trying to ensure that she's in a position of strength, because the last speaker was very influential, very powerful, was somebody that his colleagues dreaded, because he ran the House in a very totalitarian way. And even their colleagues, some of them couldn't even grant interviews unless he gave the directive. Exactly. So Miranda is now in position to bring everybody together, and I'm sure even the Lagos Traditional Council will continue to provide her with support, because he also had a hand in her emergence, because at the time when they were putting those signatures together, the old Nehru was very much involved. At some point too, the Oba of Lagos was contacted before they now reached out to the president's principal private secretary, Akim Mure, who helped them to generally get things done. So it's like a new beginning for the Lagos State House of Assembly. And yes, Miranda may not be politically skillful like the man who was there. She may not have ambitions of her own, maybe to go to the Senate or even become governor, and that helps. That means you'll be able to focus on knitting together the House. But I'm confident that under her leadership, the House and the current governor of the state will enjoy working together. Sanwo-Olu has already made that clear, that he told them in private that issues of their welfare will be addressed, dealt with. So it's a very good beginning. So the distractions that we saw no longer. I think that Mudashiru Obasa did a tremendous job as Speaker. If you knew that House, in terms of infrastructure development in the House, there has never been a Speaker that performed like Muda, because we have to be fair to people. Okay. It's important to be fair to people. If you are not fair to people, you should not expect people to be fair to you. In terms of infrastructure development, that House has experienced tremendous leap, and it was under Muda that happened. He didn't get his politics right. People make such mistakes, but it is what it is. Now there's a new leadership, and of course, I'm sure she will enjoy the support of the members, because all along they promised the traditional institution in Lagos that they were going to put her forward once they get Muda out of the way, and to that extent, they got the support of the traditional institution, and the coup was then perfected. So I'm sure she will continue to play the role of a new broom and lead her colleagues competently.
All right, Asuko, how important is the synergy between the executive, legislature, and the judiciary for effective governance? How important is this synergy?
It is very, very important, because it is the legislators that will also look at what the executive are doing.
In terms of oversight.
Yes, and don't forget, even if the governor is going to bring out ideas, the legislators will look at it and go back to their people and say, okay, what do you want? Okay. And look at, even I'm talking about the budgeting, and look at if the governors actually captured what the people who they are also representing, want. So that synergy is really, really important. And when we have governors who are not, having a very good relationship with their lawmakers or even the speaker, that underdevelopment shows. It clearly shows. It was just so unfortunate that the speaker, the former speaker, had that frosty relationship with the governor. Yeah, we are always seeing them together at parties. They would laugh, but deep down,
we
knew that
they like each other.
They didn't like each other at all. So we are hoping that with Mojisola coming on board, she's just starting. We are just talking about her confidence level. It will build up with time.
Over time, exactly.
She'll get used to it.
She'll really get used to it. It's not easy becoming the speaker of the Lagos
female,
Lagos House of Assembly. So it's just like you are the speaker. You
are the number one speaker in the country, apart from in the state assembly. Yes, apart from the National Assembly. Yes,
being a female is a huge work for her. So there will be so many attention. People will want to have her ears left, right, and center. So, but the major person should really, really want to have that relationship should be the governor. Okay. Because if she has a very good relationship with the governor, she'll have a smooth sail all through. And then she also has to listen to our lawmakers, our colleagues, because I think the major problem I foresee from the previous speaker was sometimes you call lawmakers and say, come and react to a particular thing. The next thing they will tell you,
the speaker has not
don't even go there at all. The only time you hear our lawmakers in Lagos talking to you was during their stakeholders meeting. That is the only time. And they only talk about their constituency, and that is it. So when they have other national issues for them to react, they don't even go there, because the speaker was more like the emperor, Yes, he did so many things, fantastic things in the House Assembly. Even did some things in the assembly which most of them would like, and then
BKO talked about the infrastructure. Yes,
because that was in fact, if you go to the Lagos Assembly, you'll be shocked. So beautiful, but in terms of giving his colleagues, the opportunity for them to express themselves, that was where he got it wrong.
He didn't play his politics right.
And then the way he played politics was Agege. The people of Agege will forever love him because he took Agege like his own baby, changed the Agege that used to be in people's mind. If you go to Agege now, it's so beautiful because he was.
Sorry, can I add something to that?
Yeah, please do.
Don't believe the propaganda that it was like an emperor when he was there. When things like this happen, people say things. But one of his strongest points was that he had a very good relationship with his members as speaker, because don't forget that some weeks ago, these same members, they gave him vote of confidence. It's just because VAR just nullified it. It's not. I agree that
we had relationship with some or most of the lawmakers. And some of them will always say, hold on, don't go there.
No, it's possible that when you have been on a seat for about 10 years, you understand, there's the amount of power
do you know
that you will.
Do you know he had his own clique, his own people?
No, that's how politics is played. In every house for it to survive. What I just want to add is that you said that for the new speaker to survive, she must have good relationship with the governor. That's not correct. The only person that will make her survive are the members. If they don't like her tomorrow, because unlike the executive,
even though it is easy with the governor,
it is easy to remove the speaker. It's just for members to say, we don't want you to lead us. That's it. And they will remove. So the madam, the right honorable madam should know that the people that will sustain her on that seat are the members. So at every point in time, she should continue to look at gaining the trust and respect of her colleagues. While doing that, she should also have a good relationship with the governor so that they can have a better synergy. I agree that there should be a better synergy between the executive and the legislature, because the legislature the constitution has given them a very important role. They are the ones that are going to pass the budget, which is what the executive will use to bring the so-called dividends of democracy. You understand? They have oversight functions, so they are supposed to supervise everything. So it is important that such important organization, house, should be able to have a good synergy with the governor. It was unfortunate that it didn't happen in the last one. But you see, politics, sometimes the way politics go.
Sure.
But the last time we discussed this topic, if you remember, I said that Muda was one of the best speakers that I know in the last House of Assembly. I know that Majid was against me. BKO has confirmed that. When you look at the House, when you look at the infrastructure, when you look at the activities of the House of Assembly, when you compare with other House of Assemblies in other states, when you look at the significance of the bills that they've passed, you cannot take a lot away from Muda. But just like he didn't play his politics well. And in politics, when you make the wrong turn,
that is it.
You pay for it.
All right, then. Let's move straight to our next conversation. The rich, they say, also cry. Power outages and disruptions appear to be taking a toll on the ordinary and highly placed Nigerians. The continuous disruption of electricity supply to some parts of Abuja has been traced to activities of vandals. According to the General Manager of Public Affairs at the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, in Didimba, vandalism of power infrastructure which affected supply of electricity to Maitama, Wuse, Garki, Jabi, Life Camp, Asokoro, Otako, Mabushi and others was carried out by unknown persons around the Millennium Park. While decrying incessant vandalism of power cables across the country, Mba said a team of engineers was sent to the site to ensure quick restoration of power in the affected areas. Now let's bring you the story.
Theft and vandalism of transformers as well as power line cables are twin problems facing the nation's electricity sector. In recent times, these acts have become a recurring incident, leading to power outages and loss of revenues to businesses which rely on electricity. The latest vandalism has thrown many parts of the nation's capital into darkness. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, confirms the incident. Its 132 kV transmission line and underground cables, which take power to central area and environs, were vandalized. Residents of Maitama, Wuse, Jabi, Life Camp, Asokoro, Utako, and Mabushi are without power supply. TVC News went around the affected areas to feel the pulse of the people. Here in Papi, adjacent the Hybro Maitama, business owners like David Abaniwo are mostly affected. His business relies heavily on electricity, but it is now grounded because his generating set as an alternative to public electricity is faulty. His workers now take some sit idle and even have enough time to nap. He tells me the losses are unquantifiable.
When we recharge meter for like maybe 10,000, it will take us like 2 weeks. But with everyday spending of 20,000 naira, then we're not enjoying it. We're not gaining anything. And we have staff to pay.
Other petty traders want an end to perennial vandalism of government assets.
Let there be security in everywhere, in all the areas. Let there be a tight security so that all these things will stop, because by cutting the cables is not properly at all.
At Life Camp, homeowners and other residents want the authorities to put more security measures in place to safeguard government facilities.
I had to dry my meats under the sun, roast it and dry it, and all the other food items. You know, things are going bad, and the high cost of fuel, it's not funny.
This thing has been spoiling things from fridge. We cannot be able to pump water, even to charge phone safe. It's so hard.
The lack of these lights may contribute a lot to spoil all these perishable items in the fridge.
Prince Will Okori has vast knowledge of Nigeria's power sector. Mr. Okori blames the recurring acts of vandalism and theft of public assets on the government. He says these criminal acts have become one too many, which should be nipped in the bud. He calls for more citizens' engagement to halt the increasing spate of theft and vandalism.
Who is monitoring the transmission lines? Do the substations at the states, do they have vehicles to monitor the transmission lines? How much is devoted to that? When the government, because see, citizens will follow when the principles of good governance are applied: equity, justice, fair play, accountability, transparency.
He also supports the implementation of the 2023 Electricity Act, which stipulates punishments for vandals and other crimes against the state.
Homes and businesses are counting their losses as government continues to do all within its reach to ensure that electricity is restored across affected parts of the nation's capital. But more importantly, citizens are calling for an end to perennial vandalism of government assets. Jokeyatsa, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, very, very embarrassing one, but we'll come back to discuss on this right after this break. Don't go anywhere. Still Journalist Hangout.
Coleman wires and cable, great quality, now with the new look.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach to million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707 272 8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have BKO joining us via Zoom, and Mayor Kimpelo, and also Asuko James. So, BKO, I'll start with you. The issue of electricity, vandalism, vandals destroying transmission lines. Why is this sabotage reoccurrent? And also, did the security agencies drop the ball in this regard?
I think that the solution lies in vigilance on the part of not just the security operatives, but we Nigerians. We Nigerians have a duty to protect national assets from intentional damage or destruction for the purpose of making money. It's a big problem now in our country, and this is not limited to power infrastructure. Manholes on our roads are being vandalized, and they will leave that gaping hole, which can lead to accidents and even loss of lives. I saw a video of a young girl who fell into one of the manholes, and it took mighty effort to bring her out alive. Across Lagos, they are vandalizing manholes, stealing their covers. Even in our former office, there's the junction that leads, that T junction that leads to the express. They kept taking those heavy metals away. The people maintaining the road will come replace those metals. Today, what they have done is to now lay concrete in that area. Because what is the point? You replace the metals, these people will come and take them away. I was driving to Zaria. I was on my way to Zaria for an assignment. And they showed me a bridge, one of the bridges along the road to Zaria, where these vandals had taken away heavy metals from the expansion joints of the bridge. Now the integrity of the bridge is compromised. They've had now to close that portion of the road. So unless we come up with tough punishments for these good-for-nothing Nigerians, honestly, things will get worse. You can imagine what they are doing, not just to our bridges, but to our rail tracks. They vandalize rail tracks. They take away those huge metals to go and melt somewhere and make money. This is what they are doing. People have suddenly realized that they can make money from these materials. How do you vandalize underground electricity cables? You have no fear for your life. You vandalize those underground cables and throw everybody into darkness. Parts of Aso Villa was affected. 60% of Abuja was affected by this last acts of vandalism, especially places like Jabi, Asokoro, Utako, Mabushi. These are highbrow areas, Wuse. So there's a need for vigilance. Yes, we need to put more security operatives along these very important corridors so that we can stop these guys from carrying out these activities. But I think every Nigerian needs to be vigilant. Some of these things are done in the night. They also cutted away cables everywhere. They see these cables. They try to steal them. Even transmission lines. You will see if you are driving. I saw this the last time I went to the Northeast. A whole stretch of road, almost 1 kilometer, they have stolen the electricity cables. They just left some of it on the ground. So we can abuse our government as much as we want. The citizens too have their issues. And a situation in which somebody thinks that, well, it is not my business. We cannot build a great country like that. We must expose the idiots who are making life unbearable for the rest of us and ensure that some people go to jail.
Okay. Mayor, the boldness to do it right in the heart of the nation's capital. I mean, what makes them so daring to pull this kind of thing off?
I think it is important for us to make those who are responsible for this thing suffer for what they do. I think we are being lenient. We should look for a way where for me, those who are involved in things like this should be sentenced to maybe life imprisonment or something. Because not only the economic situation of things, the economic sabotage that they are involved in is also the after effects within the community.
Yeah, exactly.
But having said that, I'm embarrassed that something like that could happen, because we're not talking of one far-flung place where you will say that it's not possible to be able to reach that. For them to be able to do that in the heart of Abuja means that some people are not doing their jobs. Because, for example, if you remember that the Nigeria Civil Defense Corps was allowed to bear arms because they were supposed to protect the country's infrastructure. That is the reason why they were allowed to bear arms. So I expect them to be able to protect our pipelines, to be able to protect our transmission lines and things like that. That is the only job that I think civil defense will do. Apart from that, what would they do? So if they cannot protect power lines within Abuja or transmitting stations within Abuja, then why are they bearing arms? So we should also look at that while we are looking at the Nigerians who we should find a way of punishing them for what they do, and for everybody to be careful, to be careful to make sure that these people amongst us that are putting us in this mess don't get away with it. We should also look at agency of governments that are supposed to do their jobs, to protect those people. They are not doing their jobs. The members of the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps are now doing what is expected of them. Because I know that before they don't used to bear arms. But at the time, they now allow them to bear arms because they said, okay, they will be in charge of protecting infrastructure. And this is a critical infrastructure that they've not done that. If people can sabotage the station that powers the villa, then what are we talking about?
Do you think
so
heads,
that means
do you think heads should roll?
So I think so. I think so, because some people have not done their jobs. Because what they are saying is that a foreign entity who wants to sabotage this country can do so many things. If it is so easy for some criminals to put the entire or the majority of Abuja in darkness, including the seat of government, then somebody somewhere is not doing his job.
How can we make sure that this thing does not repeat itself? What kind of measures do you think we should put in place? He has talked about the security. BK also talked about we as a people also collective responsibility to also watch.
I thank God that this is happening in Abuja. And so the lawmakers who are making laws should be able to look at these laws, our laws, against vandals like this. All
like
these
tougher punishment, stiffer penalties.
Mayor said something, you know, they have to, you need laws that are very, very stringent. So that if you are saying life imprisonment or maybe 100 years imprisonment, somebody who hears the number of years he will spend in jail, he will be able to understand that stealing the country's critical infrastructure is bad. You know, because it's like anytime things like this happen, we'll just look at it and then we'll go and fix it and then everybody sits down. We'll
but
feel
really,
it's okay.
let me also ask you, can you recall maybe one time when they arrested a banda or prosecuted?
That is what you are
because
saying.
This is not the first time.
It's happening and happening and happening.
I can't remember.
You can't remember when last a vandal was arrested and then prosecuted, and everybody will now say, okay, this is the person that actually, you know, threw us into darkness. Exactly. Nobody, no prosecution whatsoever. So that is why now that this is happening in Abuja, the lawmakers, when they are spending money on fuel to run their jet, they will understand what we are also feeling.
The ordinary man is facing.
So right now they need to start looking at strict laws that will deter people from, you know, stealing our infrastructure, especially power. You understand? Because I see no reason the whole of Abuja, Wuse is in darkness, Maitama is in darkness, Jabi is in darkness, some parts of the villa is in darkness.
That's embarrassing.
It's super embarrassing.
That's embarrassing.
So it's just like saying Washington, D.C.
That's embarrassing.
The White House is in darkness.
So you support that head should roll based on the people that are supposed to
This is not about TCN releasing a statement. You know, this is, for me, if I'm the president, tomorrow, all the ministers, all those who are involved in making sure that this particular infrastructure is being protected and everything that is around it, they need to come and tell me what happened. Because the NSCDC, they are supposed to be protecting these infrastructure.
Okay.
Perhaps maybe somebody, because this is not the first time the Shiroro Ketampe transmission line was, you know, attacked. I know last year they still attacked that particular transmission. So it means for security reasons, I think where even the NSA has to come, for security reasons, the NSA also has to start looking at, there's something that some people are planning which we do not know. Because
so you're bringing it to intelligence
now. Because look at how before it used to be maybe one particular section. Now they are now talking about the eyebrow areas. Including in the presidential villa.
That's why we should be bothered.
So
exactly.
We need to be bothered.
We need to be bothered. All right, then let's move straight to our next conversation. A tragedy has rocked the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, which may affect the mode of operations at the agency. According to reports, armed internet fraudsters shot an officer of EFCC after opening fire on a team of anti-graft operatives in Anambra State. Another officer is said to have sustained serious injuries and remained hospitalized. A male suspect has been taken into custody for the murder. BK, I'll come to you here. An EFCC officer tragically killed in the line of duty and another seriously wounded. First of all, as a journalist, what do you make of this incident?
Yeah, it underlines the fact that in this kind of job, you could lose your life anytime. It's just like soldiers going to war. When soldiers go to war, they know that they may eventually not return home. So all jobs have their hazards. When you are an enforcer of the law, like this EFCC operative was, you get in harm's way in the performance of your duty. And in this case, I could have blamed them or some of his colleagues for what happened. But even in warfare, ambush is still one of the most effective strategies, because you can never be fully prepared for an ambush. You cannot be prepared. An ambush can happen anytime. And the person who executes an ambush against you is in a position of strength, because he's seeing you and you cannot see him. You do not know. He could be hiding in a bush. You are going to a location, he's hiding in a bush. He throws grenade at you. You have no means of a fight back, because you are in your cars, you are in your trucks, and then it happens. In this case, they drove from Enugu, his own office, to go and effect the arrest of suspected cyber criminals, because this thing is on the rise in our country now. Even cases of Yahoo boys killing their girlfriends is on the rise. So there's a need to show these boys that our society does not tolerate this kind of abhorrent behavior. So they moved from Enugu to go and effect the arrest of those suspected cyber criminals, when suddenly one of them opened fire. They were taken aback, because this is the first time that I will hear that Yahoo boys open fire on law enforcement agents. This is the first time, and they were caught completely unawares. So I think that in future there should be greater vigilance, and all of these operatives must be ensured, because they are putting their lives on the line to enable us achieve a better society. I think that the audacity of Yahoo boys, these criminals, the audacity has to be addressed. Our society has not shown enough anger towards these boys. We tend to venerate people who have money. And because these young boys can see that we show too much respect to people who have money, they want to be rich at all costs. They want to do anything possible just for them to be rich, including even killing their own parents. Yahoo boys are known to have taken the lives of their own fathers, and use their parents to make money. There is an urgent need to look at our laws again and come up with more punitive laws against this very dangerous trend of Yahoo boys. Look at the case of the so-called gospel artist who killed his wife. And people believe that he did it for money-making rituals. So if Yahoo...
Hello, BKO. Okay, I think we lost connection there. But let me come to you, Mayor. The rule of engagement. Should the EFCC review its modus operandi, especially, going in the middle of the night, busting doors, and not even wearing, I'm not sure they were wearing a bulletproof vest. What are your thoughts here?
I don't agree with that. I don't think that as an officer you should go in the dead of the night especially given the security situation that we have in the country. For you to go in the dead of the night to say you want to go and make an arrest. I've criticized that before. I'm not in support of that. But I think that EFCC has the right, they have the constitutional right to do their job and arrest criminals. And it is unacceptable for Yahoo boys or criminals to attack an officer of the law. That should not be accepted. Because when citizens or criminals believe that they have the power to challenge officers of law, then we are in trouble. So that's unacceptable. They should make all those involved in this unfortunate incident must be made to face the full out of the law. It is unacceptable. Anywhere in the world, when you attack a security officer or officer of the law, they must make sure that they make an example of you. So that it will not give the other criminals the confidence to say they can challenge officers. Because, like Biko said, yes, we've had a situation where fraudsters complain about the mode of arrest or complain about the kind of accusations that they give to them. But this first time we are seeing a fraudster open fire on EFCC officers. That's unacceptable. That guy must be, the one that is arrested must be made to mention his accomplice, and they must pay for it. They must be make example of, because it is important. You see, perception is everything when it comes to power. You must not allow the agency to be perceived to be weak, or to be in a position where they can be disrespected or intimidated. That must not be allowed to happen. If they allow that to happen, then ab initio, the agency is in serious trouble, because anywhere they go, they will face such attacks.
What are your thoughts here? Should the EFCC review its modus operandi and also insurance for its officers? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, first, my heart goes to the family of the officer. I heard he has been buried in Sokoto.
In Sokoto.
Yeah, and he was about to get married in 2 weeks' time.
So sad.
So
he also finished, I think, a promotional exam.
Yeah, he passed his promotional exam. So my heart really goes out to the family. Yeah, I think the EFCC has to, doing sting operation at night. They are law enforcement agents, so they can do it anytime. But if they feel that is really taking a toll on their officers, and they should, start thinking about it, looking for other ways of trying to, make this arrest. Because if you look at it, just like we have been saying, this Yahoo thing is getting out of hand. People using their parents, using their girlfriends, boyfriends, wives to be making money. And now that they have even started, having guns to be going after law enforcement agents, it means that they don't even care anymore. So we need to make some people, example to know, so that others will know that you can't just, carry guns and begin to shoot at our law enforcement agents. All right,
BKO, just on a final note, this issue of internet fraudsters, it's getting really too much. It's always a sorry sight when EFCC parade lots of them. Now, how do we, earlier when we started this show, we talked about Nigeria's creativity. How do we channel Nigeria's the talents of young Nigerians into positivity?
It's really difficult when morality has really gone to the dogs in our country. Parents encourage their young children to take to a life of advanced free fraud. So, and you see the way fraudsters get all the attention just because they have money. We need total reorientation so that these young people can see that it really makes no sense to be duping people, making money off the agony of other people. Those talents could be channeled into other things. We see young Nigerians who are excelling abroad, you know, who are coming up with inventions. There is no part of the world where you do not see hardworking Nigerians, you know, breaking grounds in science and even in commerce. So, but those who have made up their minds to use their God-given talents in a negative way, I don't think there's any way by which we can stop them. We also have, even in Eastern Europe, we have a lot of fraudsters. They are a problem to people in the UK and other places. You know, so it's not limited to our country, but I think that we should really teach a lot of morals at school level, so that and parents should also teach their children honesty, good conduct, and a life of integrity.
All right, then. All right, let's move straight to our next story, which also happens to be our final story. Now, the tax reform bills that have attracted debates appears to be gaining acceptance nationwide. President Bola Tinubu has commended the Nigerian Governors Forum (NGF), the Northern Governors Forum, and other groups for the unanimous endorsement of the 4 bills currently under consideration by the National Assembly. The President urged the National Assembly to expedite the legislative process for the crucial bills so as to enable the country begin to reap the benefits of the reforms. All right, Asuka, I'll start with you. When you heard the governor's position and making a U-turn on the tax reform bills, how did you receive it as a journalist? How did you receive it?
Well, first, first thing that came to mind was, okay, now, you know, reasoning has prevailed.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
That is the first thing. Because initially they were against it for some reasons, maybe because they've not read the bill. And I still think maybe most of them have not read the bill, but the fact that they've agreed that we need a reform to reform the tax bill, you know, to have a tax bill reformed, you know, makes a lot of sense. At least we have made one step. So every other thing that will come off afterwards, you know, will be left for the National Assembly. You know, they also make some recommendations, and those recommendations is where I'm also, you know, I would not really want to, you know, I am not in agreement with them, you know, because it's like what we presently have, they just flipped it a bit. That is what they did, you know, just to flip. That is what they did.
But even though the Taiwan Idili committee said that they don't have any issues with
of course, no, because they know that there will still be consultations. You know, if you go to the National Assembly, there will still be some agreement. You know, consultations and all that. You know, so they have to take it, because initially the governors never wanted to sit with the committee. But they sat with them now. You know, so that is why I'm saying that is the first step. Now they've agreed. So now there will be some consultation, there will be some agreement, disagreement, there will be some things they want to remove and all that. They've made some recommendations, you know, and that is where the National Assembly will now look at
it. But can we say that now that the governors have taken a stand on the tax, can we say that the debate on the matter has been put to rest?
Yes, to some extent. But you see, when you want to make reforms, when you want to make change, naturally, people want to resist it. It's a natural thing. For people who want to resist it. They prefer what they are used to, unlike what you are proposing. But in this case, I want to commend the president. The person that we should commend in this is the president. Why? Because in the first place, he brought in Oedele somebody who is well respected in the tax industry, tax environment, as somebody who is an egghead who is very brilliant. He put a committee together to say, look, I wanted to give me this, and I gave them the necessary support. They came up with these reforms, and expectedly, it was resisted by everybody, northern governors, southern governors, everybody didn't want it, especially northern governors. They resisted it. And it looked as if the bill is not going to go anywhere. But the president insists that, look, forget about whether this bill has come to stay. What we should be discussing is your own input into it. Whatever you don't agree with, tell us. Let all of us sit down, reason, and do. But that we won't do this bill, forget it.
Yeah.
So that is leadership. Because as a good leader, you must know what you want. You must know what you want to achieve. And you must not allow distractions to stop you from achieving that. Now that we've gotten to the point that everybody has agreed that we should have those bills, because like I said, the Oyedele committee, they know what they are doing. So what they need to do now is to make their own input so that at the end of the day, we will have the tax reforms that everybody will be proud of.
All right, BKO, the governor's taking a decision, on the tax reform bill. How did you receive this information, BKO?
Maybe because all along I was confident that a breakthrough was near. So it didn't really come to me as a surprise. I knew the steps being taken at the level of National Assembly. I knew that the House of Reps Speaker and his team had done a lot of consultation. They had met with the governors and they were in agreement on a number of issues. So I was confident, and if you recall, the last time we discussed this matter, I said that very soon the matter will be resolved because I was following the negotiations and all. And look, just as I said, the fact that a bill had passed second reading does not mean that, it was the end. It's just a shame that some people tried to ethnicize the issue. That's the only regret that I have. But I'm happy that even some of the governors admitted that some of their criticisms were hasty, that they felt this was against the North. No president, what his name, would come up with a law meant to pauperize people of a particular segment of the country. It makes absolutely no sense. Now, the governors, I'm in agreement with the governors that we don't need to increase value-added tax because one of the issues that came up was the plan to increase value-added tax. Yes, VAT incrementally from 7.5 to 15% over a period of time. So, but now the governors have said, let us not increase VAT at all. And Oyedele has already told us that they are not going to oppose that. They also said, okay, the issue of distribution of revenue from VAT, the desire to use the derivation formula was not what many people liked at the time, because Section 146 of the tax of the tax bill had actually provided for gradual increase in the VAT rate from 7.5 to 10% in 2025, 12.5% in 2026, and further increment in 2026 until it reaches 15%. The governors have said no. Now, governors have said, okay, let's have 30% based on equity, 30% in derivation, 20% based on population to ease equitable distribution of resources. So I agree with that. I do not think that at this time that we need to increase VAT. So 60% of VAT revenue will now be based on states. Okay, 60% VAT revenue based on derivation, meaning that some states will receive funds proportional to the VAT generated from their territories.
Okay.
The governors did not like that. Many people did not like that. So, but now we have seen an adjustment to that, meaning that 30% will be based on equality, 30% on derivation, as against 60% that the bill actually sought to implement. So I'm happy that we are getting somewhere.
Yes.
And I believe that at the end of the day, everyone will be happy.
Okay.
And we'll have a new body of tax laws.
Tax law. All right, then. Joining us for more discussion on this issue is the Executive Director of the Center for the Promotion of Public Enterprise, Muda Yusuf. Muda Yusuf, thank you so much for joining us on Journalist Hangout.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
All right, then. So let's quickly go into the matter. The governor's taking a stand on the tax reform bill. Can we say that the debate on the tax reform has been put to bed?
No, certainly not. Certainly not. But what we can say is that a major obstacle or a major hurdle to the tax reform bill has been crossed. Because what the governors have done is to effect a heavy lifting, on the way of the tax bill. Because there are two major components of this tax bill. We have the technical component, which is technical content about reforming the tax system itself. And the committee has done an excellent job about that.
Muda Yusuf, are you still with us?
Of reforming and how to optimize revenue. But there is also the political aspect of it, which required a major political consensus. The political aspect of it has to do with the allocation of revenue, of VAT revenue. That is not strictly a tax reform issue. It's a revenue allocation issue. And typically, revenue allocation issues are politically very sensitive issues, which required major political consensus. And that is where the major problem was. So the intervention of the governors, I think, has helped to cross that major hurdle of ensuring political consensus around the issue of the VAT revenue allocation and even around the issues of TET fund and all of that. So now that that has been done, we expect that going forward, whatever is required of the tax bill will not be as contentious as the issue of the VAT revenue allocation. So I think it's a major progress that has been made, and I think we should commend both the governor, the tax committee, the reform committee, and even the president, because it was something that requires the shifting of ground, compromise on both sides, and that is what is needed in a political environment because of the political content and the political implications of some of the provisions of those bills. So we must commend the progress that has been made by the Governors Forum on this. Of course, there are other issues around the TET fund, which the governors also alluded to, because the bill proposed a progressive phasing out of TET fund, and of course, even ASU had kicked against that, given the impact of TET fund on the infrastructure development in our tertiary institutions, and of course, the NLC too have their own issues. Investors in the free trade zone also have their own issues, and even the private sector, because the original proposal by the tax reform committee was that we should see a gradual reduction in company income tax. Now, with this revised position, that reduction has been jettisoned by the governors, which is not favorable to the private sector. So these are the residual conversations that we'll still have, when the hearing resumes at the National Assembly. So there are still a few issues to be tackled, but the biggest of the hurdles have been crossed.
Sir, what's your position concerning the percentage proposed by the governors in terms of VAT?
Well, in terms of the revenue allocation, because just as I said, It's purely a political issue. And you need political consensus. Because when you talk about, because the proposal of the committee was 60% derivation. Of course, because this is a democratic environment. Majority of the governors were not comfortable with that. So what they are comfortable with is what they have proposed. So the issue now is not so much the merit of it, but the consensus that have been built around it. Because we now have 50% equality of states. We have 20% based on population, which is 70%. So whatever reservation people have, about 30% does not really matter to them. And because we need to move forward,
hello, Muda Yusuf, are you still with us? Okay, I think we're having network challenges, but let's bring it back into the studio. The thing is, all over the world, nobody likes to pay taxes, all over the world. But there's this sort of, in Nigeria, there's this trust deficit between the government and also the governed. But how do you explain to the ordinary Nigerian with this tax reform, this new tax system?
We should not allow the contention on this.
Okay, I think we're back.
You can go on, sir.
Mother
Yusuf, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay.
So the issue is the value of what has happened. It's not the merit of right or wrong of that proposition. I'm talking of the VAT revenue. The value is the political consensus needed to forge ahead. And it's a give and take thing. So if majority of them felt that this is the way to go, it's not too much of a sacrifice to make. And the good thing is that even the president who proposed the whole idea of the reform is also in agreement with what governors have come up with. So I think we should just move forward and forget about the merit of what is happening to the VAT revenue or not, because the main issue actually is to reform the tax system. That is the crux of the matter. It's not so much about sharing of revenue. Revenue sharing is a political issue. It's not a technical issue, it's a political issue. It's not even a tax reform issue. So that would be my view to it. It's a democratically, it's a consensus that we have come up with. And I think we should just go with it so that it doesn't truncate the larger objectives of reforming the tax system.
Okay, sir, let me ask you this. The governors also increased the CIT to 30%. And some people are already saying that it might likely affect the manufacturing industry, the industries in Nigeria. Do you share that view?
Okay, I think we're having network challenges, with Muda Yusuf. But back to the question I was trying to ask you, that all over the world, most people don't like to pay taxes. But now with this tax reform and this tax system that we're proposing, that the Tawidil is proposing, how do you explain to the ordinary Nigerians that it is beneficial to pay their taxes?
I think they know. They know that they know. The problem,
we're looking at the trust deficit.
Yeah, no. The problem that we have is that we don't really have a proper tax regime in place. That is what the reform is supposed to do.
Okay.
To put infrastructure things that are lasting, technical things that are lasting. There are different taxes, every different states pulling in different direction. There are multiple taxation everywhere.
Yes.
So there is need to streamline things and put a policy framework that everybody can work from. That is what I think the committee is supposed to do. And they've done exceedingly well as regards to that. But to pay tax, people know that they're supposed to pay tax. They know. They may try to avoid it. Like you said, nobody wants to, if you know that, if you can game the system, you want to do that. But everybody knows the importance of paying tax. They've been doing that for a long time. In the old Western region, it was anchored on cocoa process and taxation. Yes. If you know, at that time, that was why I did that initial stage at that time, when taxation was introduced and it was made compulsory that people must pay. Initially, that was why Awolowo was very unpopular at that initial stage because people didn't realize that there are tax officers that used to go to farms to go and meet people to pay taxes and tax collectors and all that. So people are aware that they know the need for people to pay taxes. It's just that because, like I said, we don't have a proper framework. For example, when you look at most states, the informal sector is not properly captured.
Okay.
So they move around without paying. It is just recently that they've introduced officers to the market and then try to organize them and have a fixed amount that they will pay. But when you have a framework and you develop from there, you'll be able to bring more people into the tax net. That's what we need. People know that they are supposed to pay tax. It's just that a lot of people are outside that loop. And when you do it properly, you'll be able to bring in more people into the tax net and be able to have more resources.
Let's talk about acceptability, general acceptability, considering the controversy of the tax reform bill. What measures, in your opinion, can be taken to get a general acceptability on how to reform the tax system in Nigeria?
Once the tax, the framework has been, concluded, and then the president assents to it, everybody will now have that, idea and notion that I need to pay tax. And so that is where the National Orientation would
National Orientation Agency,
actually come in and say, okay, fine. If you pay tax, X, Y, Z, will be done for you. You understand? Because right now, people just feel that, well, if for instance, there's no road, they'll say, they pay tax, they are not doing anything. But with this one now, people will now, you can even hold the government to account.
Yes.
You understand? Because you are paying tax. So you should be able to now tell government, I pay my tax.
All right.
So why are you not doing extra?
All right, just hold your thoughts. I've been told that Muda Yusuf is back. Muda Yusuf, BKO wants to ask you a question, please.
Yeah, I'm listening.
BKO, over to you.
Okay. I agree with you that the big decision that has been reached to have concession on the matter of distribution of revenue is political. Now, let's look at some of the other portions of the bill that people are not talking about, like the attempt to ensure that the poor do not actually pay. That there is fairness in that taxation environment, and the issue of double taxation across the states, which the telcos have always complained about. What is your own general attitude to the tax reform bills?
No, the proposition in the tax reform bills are excellent. Because we are talking about archaic laws that have been there for decades. We are talking about the issue of bringing more people into the tax net. We are talking about leveraging technology. We are seeing an example of that in Lagos State. When the current president was governor, we saw the kind of transformation that came to the tax environment as a result of leveraging technology. So these are the kind of things that we expect will come from this. Very excellent provisions. Just as I said, what was going to slow us down was the political content of the bill, which has to do with this allocation of revenue. And to the glory of God, we have been, at least to a large extent, that has been taken out. So it's a very good proposition on the whole. But we can do more, first to ensure social contracts. When people pay tax and whatever resources belong to the people, let those in government actually utilize it properly. That is extremely very important. Because sometimes when you look at our budget and look at how some of these resources are spent, you don't feel happy as a citizen, So, and it comes to issue of value system. It comes to issues of integrity. It comes to issue of service to the people. So that we don't see politics as an enterprise. We see politics as a place to serve. That is very, very critical, so that we earn the confidence of the people. That is extremely very important. And the provisions that seeks to exclude SMEs from paying tax is good enough. But I feel we.
Dr. Muda Yusuf, I think the network challenges. But I want to say thank you.
Can even increase that. Maybe the treasury day turnover, even some SME loan in a year.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Muda Yusuf. Dr. Muda Yusuf is Executive Director of the Center for the Promotion of Public Enterprise. Thank you so much for joining us on Journalist Hangout to have this conversation with us. Okay. All right, then. It's a fine place for us to leave it. Asukwa James, thank you so much for...
No, we can't leave without wishing you a happy birthday.
BKO, thank you so much for joining us.
You can't live without...
So it's actually your birthday.
Let's say happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Benga is a year older today.
Thank you very much.
Very brilliant young man.
Thank you so much.
I wish you happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Best wishes for peace, profound.
Appreciate you as always.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
The God will continue to shine upon you. His love will shine upon you.
Thank you very much. BK, appreciate you as always. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, Ore Shegun.
Thank you very much.
A friend of Shegun.
Appreciate
we pray that you continue to see many years in good health.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. And I also want to say thank you to the gentlemen in the back room, pressing the buttons accordingly for us to have a beautiful show. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you. And that's all on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Join us tomorrow for the regular episode of the program at 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11:30. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.